Hi guys, and welcome back to part 2 of how to draw cat eyes. So let's just get right into this. I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with the other eye, except with this eye we are going to use oranges and yellows. So I'm just going to start by outlining the eye with some black Faber-Castell Pastel pencils. I do believe the link for these pencils is down in the description if you're interested in finding out about them or grabbing some. I totally highly recommend them. I've tried other kinds of pastel pencils and these ones are by far my favorite. So I'm just going to start with the next step here, and that's putting down a base layer. I'm just using the white pastel So that's going to make our first layer. And do not blow this layer off. Leave the little chalky dust particles all in there so that we can use them to start blending. So up at the top there, I'm adding a darker brown just to add that bit of shadow to the top. Even though that eye is going to be orange, we will still add the brown. It just gives a darker look. I'll come all the way down and around the pupil. Once again, I'm not blowing this. I'm just laying down a second layer. I'm just coming in with a little bit of black. And just like the blue eye, this eye is not about colors. I'm not going to be talking about what colors I'm using, like by the number and name of the actual pencil itself. I don't think that really matters when you're just learning and trying new things. I'm just coming in with some orange here. Go right up and I'll go over the brown. And again, it's super important, do not blow the chalk of the pastels, because you want to keep as much of that color on there so that it just blends into the paper. And lastly, we're just going to add some yellow to the bottom because that's the brighter part of the eye. More light is hitting that part of the eye. Just throwing some white on top of that. And I'm just coming in with my little blending stick. These are absolutely amazing. They have like a rubberish tip and it just blends like crazy. I find them way better at spreading and pushing in the color of the pastels into the paper than the paper blender sticks. I'm just coming in with a second layer. I still haven't blown the dust away. These are my favorite pencils, these white. It just seems like a harder pencil, and I just use it so much. You can get them at Michael's. They come in packs of 2, about $8 for the pack. So I'm just coming in with some darker white. Only because I feel like I blended that too much at the bottom. Like I brought too much of the dark pastel down into where I wanted the yellow in the brighter part of the eye. So just to correct that, I just added a little of the harder white pastel pencil. I'm just coming back in with some yellow and some white. Then we'll just blend in our second layer. And for the record, I am recording this video indoors. I know there were a lot of airplanes flying overhead last time, dogs barking, birds chirping, what have you. So I hope the audio on this video turns out better than the first. Blue Eye Part 1. And I hope you guys find this video useful. This is my second real-time video. I don't know if you can hear the airplane, but I am inside. So there's not much I can do about that except stop recording, and I know I need to work on my editing skills. This whole voiceover on YouTube, creating videos, it's all really new to me. As you can see, my channel is super new too. I have like next to no subscribers, but the ones I do have, I love you and thank you for subscribing. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions at all about how I am drawing these cat eyes and the things that I'm not saying that I should be saying that I don't think to say, just ask away in the comment box and I will for sure reply. And as time goes by, I'm always looking at improving my skills, so I will be working on how to create better YouTube videos too. So if you guys have any suggestions or you want to see certain things, then feel free to ask about that as well. So I've just put in some black for the pupil, and I'm coming in with an orange just over top and around where the light's going to be hitting. Just putting another layer on of the black. I want to get as much black into the paper as I can. You see all those little specks of paper that you can still see. I just want to fill all those little grooves in. Pastel paper has these little holes, so to speak, these little indents, and you just want to get as much of the pigment in them as you can. Just add a little bit more of that orange. Sorry about the dog. Seems like if there's like a bird or a squirrel or a cat or a person or anything outside, all the dogs just jump up on the couch and just go crazy. I should really look into retraining my dogs to stop barking. Just adding a bit more of the brown, because it seems like the black, I just blended it right away. So I'm just going to add a bit more, blend it in there. This is where you want to sort of be careful, because I'm dragging in too much of the dark and I have to come back in and correct it with some lighter, and you can only correct it so much before the paper stops allowing you to add any more color to it. Just gets to a point where it's like, had enough. And there's got to be a trick to fixing that problem when it happens. I just haven't learned it yet. This is my one trick, is that harder white pastel. It has saved me so many times. Except now when I'm going over the dark brown, it's turning it to a lighter brown. Just having some issues there. But that's what practice is for. I'm sure even if I'm making errors, you guys are getting the idea of how I do create these eyes. And hopefully it inspires you to create something amazing yourself. And just because I'm not 100% satisfied with the yellow eye, I'm still going to share it with you guys. It's still going to be the video, because art is art, and seems like I always see what I would do different next time. Yet the people that I give the art to are like, oh yay, it's so nice, and I just need to get over myself, because I just see error after error after error. But I know I'm not alone in that. That's the life of art. I like to think of it as just a tool to learn and do better next time. So this is just the little lip of the eye again, just coming in with some of that brown. Now this is that little fleshy white part of the eye that when the cat turns its eye, it has that little spot of flesh. As far as I know, all cats have it, but I could be totally wrong. And this does not have to be gray in yours. It could be peach or brown or pink or whatever color you want, because it's your art. So now I'm just outlining the yellow eye. I'm just blending in the black that I did. It just makes it pop a little bit more. Now you'll notice I'm just putting down a slight layer, not a lot, just some lines, just to give myself an idea of where the fur is going to go. And cat's fur definitely does not go in one direction. It goes in multiple directions. Always just add this white line around my edges, just because the other colors, they blend into it, so the white line, it disappears over time with your layers. But I like to just add it. It helps keep me organized on the paper. See, now I can come in with this black, and I know to stay within that white line. One of the other challenges that I face is I never know when to stop. You know, there's sometimes you'll have that moment where it's like, you know, it's perfect, so you can stop. And then there's just those days where you can just keep adding layer and layer and layer and layer, and you get carried away. You don't know when to stop. So eventually you just have to call it and just say, you know what? Enough is enough. You need to stop. Then you can always come back to it another day. That's what I like to do, because sometimes I can sit for like, excuse me, 6 or 8 hours straight and just be drawing this pet, and then I look at it the next day and I can see some things that I didn't see the day before. These eyes, they look sort of a little bit crazy and a little bit unfinished, and this is the part where I just want to keep adding more and more and more, but I have to tell myself, no, just stop and just carry on, and I'll do like some fur, some of the nose, because it never looks finished when you just have like part of it done. And if you found this video to be useful or helpful or inspiring or anything, I would love to hear about it down in the comments. Like I said earlier, I am so new to this YouTube video thing that I would just love to connect and hear from people. Whether you're a cat lover or an artist yourself, I love feedback. I love getting art tips, anything. And that about does it. And that is how I draw my cat eyes. I hope you enjoyed, and if you liked it, please subscribe, because I have lots of art videos up my sleeve, and I will promise you I will get better at this voiceover thing and video and recording and all that jazz. So yeah, stay awesome.